Welcome aboard. Today we're diving into James Cameron's Titanic, the 1997 masterpiece that brought history, romance, and heartbreak to life. But what happened to its unforgettable cast? From stunning transformations to surprising personal stories, we'll uncover it all. Did you know one cast member married James Cameron? Or that another lived to 100? Stick around to discover these fascinating details and more as we revisit the stars of Titanic, then and now. Let's begin with Victor Garber, the man who portrayed Thomas Andrews, Titanic's chief architect. As the visionary behind the ship, Andrews represented the era's ambition, but also bore the weight of its tragic failure. Born March 16, 1949 in Ontario, Canada, Garber was 47 during filming and delivered a performance filled with quiet dignity and selflessness. One unforgettable scene captures Andrews adjusting a clock in the first-class lounge, apologizing to Rose for not building a stronger ship. This moment, steeped in guilt and grace, remains one of the film's most touching scenes. Since Titanic, Garber has continued to be a versatile actor, appearing in hit films like Argo and TV shows like Legends of Tomorrow. At 75, he's still captivating audiences, often praised for his ability to bring depth to every role he takes on. Next, let's turn our attention to another character torn by duty and survival, Ruth DeWitt Bukater, Rose's mother. Born May 11, 1952, in England, Frances Fisher played Ruth DeWitt Bukater, Rose's aristocratic mother. Ruth, determined to secure her daughter's future through marriage, was both a symbol of the era's rigid societal expectations and a source of tension for Rose. Fisher captured Ruth's complex nature beautifully. On the surface, she's cold and calculating, but glimpses of vulnerability reveal her genuine fear for her family's survival. One of her most iconic lines, "This is your best chance," underscores how trapped she feels by her own circumstances. At 45 during filming, Fisher brought gravitas and authenticity to the role. Today, she remains a respected Hollywood presence, known for her work in shows like Watchmen. Beyond acting, she's an advocate for numerous social causes, often attending events to champion equity in the industry. At 72, Fisher's legacy continues to grow. Let's talk about the actor who became the heartthrob of a generation, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio's portrayal of Jack Dawson made him a global superstar. Born November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, Leo was just 21 when he played the free-spirited artist who falls in love with Rose. Jack's optimism, humor, and sacrifice turned him into one of cinema's most beloved characters. Did you know DiCaprio initially hesitated to take the role? He felt Jack lacked depth, but James Cameron convinced him the character would be a career-defining opportunity. One iconic moment is Jack's line, "I'm the king of the world," a phrase that became synonymous with the film's legacy. Since Titanic, DiCaprio has become one of Hollywood's most respected actors, earning an Oscar for The Revenant and starring in hits like Inception and The Wolf of Wall Street. Beyond acting, he's a leading advocate for environmental conservation. At 50, DiCaprio continues to balance blockbuster films with his commitment to making a difference. What about Jack's counterpart, Rose? Kate Winslet's journey is just as fascinating. Let's dive in. Kate Winslet was only 21 when she took on the role of Rose DeWitt Bukater, a young woman trapped by societal expectations. Winslet's performance perfectly captured Rose's transformation from a sheltered debutante to a fearless survivor. Filming Titanic wasn't easy. Winslet performed many of her own stunts, enduring freezing water and heavy costumes. One of her most memorable scenes is Rose's defiance on the bow of the ship, arms spread wide as Jack holds her steady, a moment that became one of cinema's most iconic images. Post-Titanic, Winslet has enjoyed an illustrious career, winning an Oscar for The Reader and earning acclaim for roles in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Mare of Easttown. She's known for her down-to-earth personality and commitment to portraying complex, relatable women. Now 49, Winslet remains one of Hollywood's most admired actors. But no love story is complete without a villain, and Billy Zane brought one of the most memorable antagonists to life. Let's explore his journey. Born February 24, 1966, in Chicago, Illinois, Billy Zane played Cal Hockley, Rose's wealthy and controlling fiancé. At 31, Zane perfectly captured Cal's entitlement and arrogance, making him one of the most hated characters in the film. One chilling moment that stands out is when Cal dismissively says, "I always win." Zane later revealed that this line was improvised, adding an extra layer of menace to his performance. Cal's obsession with maintaining control, even as chaos erupts around him, made him a compelling antagonist. Since Titanic, Zane has continued to work in film and television, exploring diverse roles while also pursuing his passions for art and philanthropy. At 58, he's still recognized for his striking presence and versatility as an actor. Now, let's shift gears to a character who brought humor and heart to Titanic. Molly Brown, played by Kathy Bates. Born June 28, 1948, in Memphis, Tennessee, Bates was 49 when she took on the role. She brought warmth and humor to Molly Brown, famously known as the unsinkable Molly Brown. Her character's genuine kindness toward Jack and sharp wit made her one of the film's most beloved personalities. A standout moment is when Molly takes Jack under her wing, coaching him on how to behave at the first-class dinner. It's a scene filled with heart and humor, perfectly capturing Molly's unpretentious nature. Off-screen, Bates deeply admired the real Molly Brown, who was a philanthropist and activist. Bates's performance brought that historical figure to life, balancing resilience and charm. At 76, Bates is still thriving in Hollywood, with standout roles in Misery, Richard Jewell, and American Horror Story. She remains one of the most versatile actors of her generation. Next, we shift to the modern-day framing of the story with Bill Paxton's heartfelt portrayal of Brock Lovett. Born May 17, 1955, in Fort Worth, Texas, Bill Paxton played Brock Lovett, the treasure hunter searching for the heart of the ocean diamond. Paxton's grounded, curious portrayal tied the modern-day narrative to Titanic's tragic past. One particularly moving scene is when Brock admits, "3 years I've thought of nothing but Titanic, but I never let it in." This line marks a turning point for his character, shifting from greed to reverence for the human tragedy of the ship. Paxton was 42 during filming and had already established himself as a frequent collaborator of James Cameron, starring in Aliens and True Lies. Sadly, Paxton passed away in 2017 at age 61, leaving behind a legacy of memorable roles in Twister, Apollo 13, and of course, Titanic. Next, we turn to Bernard Hill, who took on the weighty role of Captain Edward Smith. Born December 17, 1944, in Manchester, England, Bernard Hill played Captain Edward Smith, the experienced leader of the Titanic. Hill's performance balanced authority with vulnerability, as Smith struggled to manage an unprecedented disaster. One of Hill's most haunting scenes is when Smith retreats to the wheelhouse, fully accepting the ship's fate. Hill later said he wanted to portray Smith as a man under immense pressure, doing his best in impossible circumstances. At 52 during filming, Hill brought years of acting experience to the role, having starred in Gandhi and Shirley Valentine. Post-Titanic, he gained even greater recognition as King Theoden in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Sadly, Bernard Hill passed away in 2024. His legacy as a commanding performer in both historical and fantasy epics will continue to inspire audiences for generations to come. Next, let's meet Susie Amis, whose role as Rose's granddaughter led to a lifelong connection with James Cameron. Born January 5, 1962, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Susie Amis played Lizzie Calvert, Rose's attentive granddaughter. Her character guided the audience through the modern-day storyline, bridging the past and present. Amis brought a sense of curiosity and calm to the role, which balanced the intensity of the flashbacks. One of Lizzie's defining moments comes when she gently asks her grandmother, "Was there ever a Jack?" A line that subtly underscores the emotional weight of Rose's story. Amis delivered this with a quiet sincerity that made the scene resonate with audiences. At 35 during filming, Susie Amis already had a successful career as an actress and model. However, Titanic marked a significant turning point in her life, not just professionally, but personally. After meeting James Cameron during production, the two fell in love and married in 2000. Together, they focused on environmental activism, co-founding a sustainable school and promoting plant-based living. Now 62, Amis has largely stepped away from the spotlight, dedicating her time to causes she's passionate about. Her role in Titanic remains a poignant reminder of how films can shape both careers and personal lives. But while Lizzie looked to the past, it was older Rose who brought those memories to life. Let's explore the remarkable story of Gloria Stewart. Born July 4, 1910, in Santa Monica, California, Gloria Stewart portrayed the older Rose in Titanic, narrating the film's central story. At 86 during filming, Stewart was an icon of Hollywood's golden age, and her performance earned her an Academy Award nomination, making her one of the oldest nominees in history. Stewart's portrayal of Rose combined elegance, wisdom, and emotion, creating a deeply moving character who captivated audiences. One of her most memorable lines, "A woman's heart is a deep ocean of secrets," became an enduring quote that reflected the film's themes of love and loss. Interestingly, Stewart had retired from acting decades earlier, only returning in her 70s to take on a few select roles. Her casting in Titanic was James Cameron's homage to classic Hollywood. Stewart also contributed her artistic skills. She painted the watercolors seen in her character's room in the film. Gloria Stewart passed away in 2010 at the remarkable age of 100, leaving behind a legacy as both an actress and an artist. Her role as Rose is celebrated as one of the film's emotional cornerstones. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the cast of Titanic. From their unforgettable performances to their fascinating lives today, these actors remind us why Titanic remains one of the most iconic films of all time. Which transformation or story surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into Hollywood's greatest legends. Until next time, keep celebrating the classics.